This is the Lichtman Live post show, the greatest post show that's ever existed on the face of planet Earth. Thank you all for being here. Let me put my chat onto live chat instead of top chat. Hello, Lori Robinson. Hello, Zolt. Hello, JoJo Star. Philip H. Abe, we are live. Philip H., you are Unlimited Light. Thank you for your donation. Hello, Vladimir. Susie. We are one voice. Kyle Fishman. We are the world. We are the children. Falling Star Catcher. Smash that like button. Miles Wolf. No, Limited Light, you're number one. You have jumped into the number one position. Thank you. We are the ones that make a brighter day. So, yes, Susan, thank you for that. Our future president is back, President Khalidi. Suzanne AP is here, I believe from Asbury Park. See, I memorized that, Suzanne. Jay Vargas, hello. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, Jay Vargas. GOP slogan could be... could we be bigger Nazi horse? Chill, bro. Patrick Murray, nice to see you. Hey, Sam, have you ever thought of featuring the Midas Fish brothers on the show? I don't know if I've thought specifically about featuring them on this show. I know my dad's been on Midas Touch, and last summer we were actually in talks with Midas Touch to maybe join the Midas Touch network. Maybe we'll try that again. I hit them up on an unrelated thing a couple months ago, and I got crickets, so I don't know if they forgot us. Thank you, John Rogers, for your gifted memberships. I appreciate that a lot. My little puppy's here. Crossfire says, hi, Sam. I normally watch on my TV, so don't comment. I'm watching on my laptop tonight. Thanks for being here, Crossfire. And I just want to be clear, this whole format thing is, something we're exploring. Nothing's set in stone yet, but it was good information to see where at least the live viewers stand, for sure. Thanks. We are one voice. Oh, Philip H., thank you. The light was indeed limited. What does that mean? Hello, Obsidian Knight. Have Heather Cox Richards sit on. Guys, we don't really do guests on my dad's channel. He doesn't really work well. Maybe I'll start my own podcast and start having guests. How about that? Except I couldn't book anybody because I'd be like, hey, I have 9,000 subscribers. And they'd be like, I know I say this every week. What are your thoughts on the Sydney Sweeney jeans drama? I think whoever made that ad is like, bro, read the moment. You know what I mean? It's not that funny or witty. If you're not familiar, there was like some ad with Sydney Sweeney, and it was like an American Eagle ad, I think. And it was like for their jeans or something. And she's like putting on their jeans, and she's like, I've got great jeans. And then like it goes into like a close up of her face, and she's like, and I've got great jeans, as in like, I'm hot and blonde and, white and et cetera, et cetera. It wasn't interesting or witty, and I think they should have just let that hit the cutting room floor. You should do a community poll about what format your viewers prefer. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Who cares? Oh, you don't have to care. It just came up in the chat, so I talked about it. People are mad because it's like this idea of like, oh, look, I've got great genes because I'm white and blonde and blue-eyed. It feels a little, Aryan nation type-ish. Eugenics porn, yeah, exactly, Jill. Thank you, Crossfire, for your donation. We are the one. Oh, Savannah just said she just uploaded a community poll, so there we go. When's the last time I was at the beach? I haven't gone to the beach this summer. I went to the beach last in California in maybe December. Hello, trolls. She said her jeans are blue with a close-up of her blue eyes. Yeah, I mean, oh, thank you, John Rogers, again for gifting memberships. It's like, yeah, it wasn't that interesting. It wasn't that witty. And again, it's like in the midst of like ICE crackdowns and like Latin Americans being like essentially considered like second-rate citizens. I don't think it would ever hit right, to be honest, but especially not now. Jeans or jeans, but it's a double entendre. Is that how you call it? American Eagle, please read the room. Exactly. I think whenever they would have put it out, it would have got backlash. Again, it's just a little like, ooh, like a little like, what? Yeah, blue jeans, blue eyes, white girl with blue hair. It's like, what are you saying? You know? I don't know. Like, there's no way nobody in that advertising meeting, like, were they totally oblivious to that? The fact that they're showing this very Aryan-looking girl and talking about jeans, you know? They had to realize that. And then if they did and they leaned into it even more, it's like, Philip H says, I don't get the craze over Sydney Sweeney. She's not that pretty and has big boobs. Dime a dozen. I like Sydney Sweeney. I think she's attractive. Ted Cruz was fawning all over Sydney Sweeney. He was? Like, how so? Just talking about her? Or is this in relation to the ad itself? Hoping your dad does great tomorrow. Find a way to let everyone know. I hope he does great tomorrow as well. Their official response proves they knew exactly what they were doing. Oh, I didn't realize there was an official response. Thank you, Cynthia, for educating us. Susie K is here. Susie K. Everybody loves Susie K now. Quote, the left is going crazy against beautiful women. That's a Ted Cruz quote. And the sad thing is people are going to buy that too. They're like, the left doesn't like beautiful women. It's like, that's not the point, bro. The Aryan race does not exist. It was a racist fiction made up by Hitler. Weren't original Aryans like from a region of India, right? And so, I mean, in terms of Hitler's idea of Aryan, it's not even close, right? Joe Star says, I saw Megyn Kelly and the usual people saying that any backlash is woke. Oh my God. It's like, you can't say anything. It's like, you're what? You say any criticism and everything. Woke. Hey, I don't like peanut butter. You woke. My favorite movie. Woke. It's like, Jesus Christ, chill. Even Kiko's looking at me like what? Crossfire says, I think most people accusing people of being woke don't even know what woke means. Yeah, it's definitely, at this point, it's definitely over. Like, I just don't get why the American people are like, hey, maybe these people screaming woke every 2 seconds are not to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? Keeks, are you woke? Limited Light says, haven't seen American Eagle in years. I haven't either. I feel like I haven't seen an American Eagle. I can't even remember the last time I saw an American Eagle store. I guess they're still in malls, like traditional box malls. The boy who cried woke. Let's go to the max. That's amazing. Troll says, maybe it's the word communism half the population can't even define. True. Better woke than comatose. True. It feels like at this point, if you have a thought in your head, it's like woke. It's like, if you have any opinion on anything, woke. It's like, come on. And it's obviously used as a mechanism not to engage in the reality of the debate or the conversation, right? Woke literally means being awake and aware about injustices. Since when is that bad? It's not bad, right? It's just that it's been co-opted as this like universal term to mean essentially any left-wing thought process that you might disagree with. It's been co-opted the same as fake news. I mean, fake news first started circulating talking about Trump and his fake news orbit, the fake news from Russia, the fake news from his right-wing conspiratorial base, and somehow they co-opted it. It's like, why does that keep happening? It's annoying. The people engaged in fake news are much more concentrated on the right than on the left, but somehow the right has co-opted that word, and it worked. I don't get it. I have not heard about Randy Fine. Sydney Sweeney is super liberal. She may have thought she was sticking it to white supremacists that hold her up as the Aryan model of beauty. Well, I did not get that. I did not get that from that ad. So either it was super subtle or non-existent. Was told that woke came from the black community for people that were accepting. Bro, the Sydney Sweeney stuff is so overhyped. Maybe so. Sydney Sweeney once tweeted in support of BLM. I'm not saying Sydney Sweeney isn't liberal or she's right. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying the ad was weird. That's the only opinion I've had about this whole thing. The ad was weird and not funny and not that interesting. %40 of Americans have a 5th grade reading level. Is that true? I didn't even realize that. Celebrities are overhyped in general. Yes, of course. I think we've known that since the celebrity era of our time. Probably, I don't know, the 30s maybe, when celebrity became a real big thing. I don't know. The term woke emerged as a way for black Americans to express awareness of racial prejudice. Right. Google says that the term woke first originated in blues music in the 30s, but gained popularity during the BLM movement in the 2010s. Interesting. Trolls says, I wonder why so many take Trump's word like the Bible. Would Jeff Bezos have the same effect? No, definitely not. I don't think Jeff Bezos has any sort of effect close to Trump. That's a good question. Why do they take his word so purely? I don't get it. I mean, he's one of the most prolific liars in at least modern American history, maybe in all of American history, at least political history. I don't get it. Sorry, the correct stat is 45% of Gen Z has a 5th grade reading level, not Americans. What? Gen Z, only 45% of them have a 5th grade reading level? I don't believe that. Look it up. 45% of Gen Z have a 5th grade reading level? Let me see. I'm looking it up. Is it true that 45... And what is the youngest age of a Gen Z person at this point? Let me look that up first. Gen Z age. 13 to 28. I mean, so a lot of them are still really young. So that's, I don't know, it feels like a weird stat. I mean, obviously if you're 13, you should have above a 5th grade reading level. But also if your demographic still skews that young, it's going to skew it in a weird direction, if that makes sense. What percentage of Gen Z have a higher than 5th grade reading level? AI Google says there isn't a direct statistic specifically stating percentage of Gen Z with a reading level above 5th grade. I'm out on this topic. I'm out. Gen Z may be young, but COVID scrambled the youth academically. Maybe so. Where did Kiko go? Let's go to the maxes. I'm Gen Z, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if my generation was that illiterate. President Khalidi says, Sam, I don't think the slogan, Make America Great Again, is that inspiring because America was already great under Obama until Trump wrecked it. I don't personally find it inspiring, but it's, generally speaking, it's a pretty good slogan. I think it works, you know. It doesn't work on me, but it works generally speaking. Is that a bong in the background? I'm assuming you're talking about the oil lamps? No, those are oil lamps, not bongs. Bong. The illiterate Gen Z are Charlie Kirk fans. Yeah, I don't understand what happened. I feel like even my generation, which was supposed to be, you know, like the stupidest, laziest, it's just getting worse. And I was thinking, it felt like the trajectory was going the opposite, you know? If you would have asked me, I would have been like, oh yeah, the generation behind it is going to be super smart and super down to earth and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I also don't want to make big generalizations about like millions of people. Sam, whatever you do, don't smoke hippie lettuce. Okay. Do they still actually use bongs? Yeah, people definitely still use bongs. I mean, I don't know. I think they do. Back in my day. Who do you got? Duplessis or Chimaev? Chimaev. Yes, I'm a millennial. Did my MLB team make any trades today? No, but we got players poached. When millennials were young, we were very progressive. Gen Z are more conservative thanks to these stupid podcasts and social media. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I think social media kind of ruined the progress. It just kind of felt like every generation, right, in the last, 50, 60 years just got like a little bit smarter, a little bit more educated, a little bit more down to earth. And then it seemed to sort of like fall off a cliff with the, social media and Gen Z and all that jazz. Sam, are you doing any acting recently? I've applied to a few acting jobs, but I haven't gotten anything. Sam, I still don't understand why my Generation Z is taking such a conservative turn. I think whoever said it is right. Like, social media has corrupted their brains, man. And the right wing and the manosphere is really good at social media. So they've just been able to take over and corrupt the brains of a lot of young people. It's easy for Gen Z to be indoctrinated on social media by the right wing, and the algorithm keeps feeding them. Exactly. Let's go to the max. You got it. Sam, if you're going to see any stand-up comic, but you found out they were sometimes made anti-trans jokes or mean rhetoric targeting trans people, how much of a deal breaker is that? I mean, like, how anti-trans? You know what I mean? Like bigoted jokes. That's probably a deal breaker. Jill says, "Oh, your documentary was sad and very well done." Well, very well done. I'll take that. It's been doing pretty well. I think it's at, like, let me see. DW Native American. It's got 484,000 views. So better than I thought I was going to do. So heck yeah. Sam, they don't know a world that isn't on their screens. We existed as adults before smartphones. Yeah, I agree. I do not know what Spandau prison is. Your doc made me tear up. Oh my God. John Rogers says, "Hey Sam, when you say back in the day with me, that's 66 years ago. That's funny. I really like the post show. I feel like I'm just hanging out." We are hanging out, John. Where did I miss something? I guess so. I made a documentary with DW about Trump's policies and their effect on Native American communities. If you type in DW Native American, it should come up. Did I watch the recent Hunter Biden interview? No, not really. Oh, he went into great lengths about injustice against indigenous people in America. Interesting. Where can we... Here, let me just post the doc. 1 second. 1 second, folks. And, you know, the thing is, like, I feel like every generation thinks the previous generations are stink. But like I said, it did kind of feel like, even if, you know, Gen Xers didn't think millennials were that cool, or boomers thought millennials were lazy, it did feel like, again, like the generations, again, were getting smarter and more educated and more down to earth, and then it kind of fell off a cliff. Doc. There it is. Sam, have you ever seen the progressive debate channels like Parker and Dean? They are Gen Z and debate Gen Z people, and it's shocking how much the right wing has penetrated. I think I've seen Dean around. I've seen, some debate channels like that around. Charlie Kirk is convincing Gen Z that college is a scam, so they drop out so they'll be less educated and more susceptible to propaganda. Yeah, Charlie Kirk sucks. That guy sucks. That guy stinks. Gen X are right in the middle, using old and new tech. You know what? Here's my take. I think Gen X, of like, from baby boomers on, not counting what was that generation before them, like the great generation, they were pretty cool. But from baby boomers on, Gen X is actually the coolest generation, just on paper. Spandau prison housed at least 2 Nazi prisoners, Albert Speer and one other whose name escapes me. Speer was released after serving 20 years. Okay. What was that about? I forgot now. Oh yeah, apparently the South Park episode is already out. this, the one about Charlie Kirk. Michael Lolang said, I live in the Bay Area and many tech billionaires and tech companies are not fans of democracy. Yeah, you're not wrong. Cartman Kirk. Is that out already? I just feel like the Gen Xers that I know in my life, obviously they're out of fashion now, right? All the stuff that they like. But like, I feel like at their peak, all their peaks of coolness, Gen Xers were the coolest, probably. Do you think younger generations would be more interested in college had it not been so expensive? Absolutely. I think that's probably the biggest crisis in higher education. Not whatever Charlie Kirk is claiming. It's just the affordability. Okay, let's do a poll. Which generation is coolest? Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, baby boomers. Pulls up. We are the world. Boy, that song's stuck in my head now. Community college should be free. It should be. And like, I remember I was actually working at DW full time at the time back in like 2015. And I remember Obama passed something that said like community college was free. And then it just kind of like, whatever happened to that? Do people remember that? You want tacos? You're crazy. Boomers can be the worst. Those are the crazy Trumper grandpas. I think, in my humble opinion, boomers and Gen Z are definitely the least cool. And then again, I think it goes like this: from coolest to least cool. Although I think it's a tie at the bottom. I can't decide which one's less cool. But it's definitely, in my mind, it's definitely Gen X, millennials, and then baby boomers and Gen Z are the least cool. Depends on your definition of cool. No doubt. How you define cool? I don't know. Just it's your own definition, you know? What about the silent generation? Which generation was that? Feel like boomers were really cool during the hippie Woodstock era? Maybe, but they've really fallen off a cliff since then. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Now it kind of feels like boomers are like, they're too proud of that generation. It's like, man, the 60s and 70s, you don't even understand, bro. We were so cool. It's like, that makes you less cool. Like, you don't hear anything from Gen Xers, like, bragging about, that makes them more cool, you know? Susie K says boomers are too arrogant. That's the issue. It's like, yeah, maybe the 60s and the 70s were a really cool time, but the amount you've been bragging about it makes me care less about it. You know what I mean? I actually think World War II generation were the coolest. We're not going back that far. We're starting at baby boomers and going forward. Because it's hard to, I mean, the generation before the baby boomers were literally like fighting in world wars. I mean, that's pretty badass. I'm a Gen Xer in spirit. Thank you, bro. Thank you. R.M. Bell says, no, he's so millennial. I get that. Half millennial, half Gen Z. I don't think that's a thing. I think there's a cutoff date. What are the boomer years? Let me see. Baby boomer generation. Those born between 1946 and 1964, according to the Google AI. Like, here's the thing about Gen X. It's like they were almost so uncool that they were cool. And what I mean by that is, like, their hair was wild, their music was wild. You know what I mean? It's kind of cringe, like, but like it kind of worked. It's, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? What are these people talking about? I'm half. You can't be half. It's a cutoff date, isn't there? If you're before January 1st, this date, you're this. If you're after that, you're that. How can you be half? It's not like one parent's Jewish and one's not. Gen X is back of the classroom energy. Exactly. Like, Gen X to me is perfectly personified in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Breakfast Club. Like, those two movies to me are like the perfect personification of Gen X, and those are both like two of the coolest movies ever made. And it's also because they're not trying super hard to be cool. You know? Joneses are considered a subgroup of the larger baby boomer generation. This group is distinct from earlier boomers with a unique set of shared experiences and culture. So what's the years for those? That's a whole another subset. The reason Gen X is cool is because we were forgotten. Exactly. And left to our own devices. Exactly. When were the Gen X years? Let's see. Born between 65 and 80. R.I.P. Ozzy. Ozzy was, I mean, he was a baby boomer, but I feel like his music was more Gen Xers, right? President Khalidi says, I'm Gen Z and I've seen the effects of long-term social media corruption. No doubt. Jimmy Smith says, universities can offer bachelor's and master's degrees at community college prices. They choose not to because they're greedy. For sure. Ozzy's metal was not Gen X metal, in my humble opinion. So what was it then? Black Sabbath was, I feel like, more. Let's see. Black Sabbath. Years active. They came out around 1968. So they were borderline boomer generation music, I would say, actually. Boomer to Gen X. And don't get me wrong, like, the 60s and 70s produced amazing art, amazing music, amazing film. But for whatever reason, it just feels like, someone said it, like, Gen Xers were the forgotten ones. That's why they're the coolest. That's why. I can't explain it. Well, I just did, I guess. But I'm not necessarily saying Gen X movies and music was better, but Their whole generational movement just seems cooler. Philip H says, dude, I started walking down the beach at the start of your dad's show, and I just realized I haven't turned around. I may be a little stoned. Philip H is hitting the bong. So Beth is claiming that Ozzy is boomer metal. You might be right. I didn't realize they started in 68. That is more, young boomers. Troll says, I say 90s and 2000 films were the pinnacle of cinema. That's a good question. I'd have to do a deeper analysis to give a full answer on that. Black Sabbath was definitely a boomer band. All right, I'm wrong. So you're the coolest when you care least about being cool? Kind of, yeah. Gen X kids dealt with a lot of new things, like divorce. Oh, that's a little dark. Schindler's List 94, the best movie ever made. I do think Schindler's List is a very good movie. The Silent Generation was 1928 to 1945. We're not counting them in this. They're too cool. Like, you can't even compare yourself to them. Oh, what's the poll at? Millennials had the best era of cartoons on TV. I do agree with that. I think cartoons hit their peak with millennials. Let's see the poll. Wow, baby boomers is almost rivaling millennials. 10% Gen Z, 20% baby boomers, 29% millennials, 41% Gen X. So my initial thought follows the people's thought. That's good to see. Beth says, I don't think one generation is the greatest. All have their pluses and minuses. Yes, Beth, you are correct. At the end of the day, there are pros and cons and good and bad with each generation. You are the sensible person in the room. Now let's get back to being unsensible. So no, I'm kidding. '80s hair, but that's the thing. Like, '80s hair was crazy. So that kind of makes it cool. You know what I mean? I don't know. Troll says, I think this generation is a bit soft, marshmallow-like, and baby boomers seem to have tougher skin. I mean, yeah, we're not talking about toughness. There's no doubt that every generation probably gets a little bit more soft. I mean, our lives get easier. They're less, of course, every modern generation is going to get a little bit softer. That's just the nature of how humans are progressing. Lots of hairspray and ozone destruction in the 80s. True. Binge watching the Osbournes. Ozzy was so hilarious. R.I.P. the Prince of Darkness. Yeah. R.I.P. Ozzy. Well, how do you watch the Osbournes? Is it on Paramount? Probably, because I know MTV is a Viacom company, which is owned by Paramount. I'm going off the rails of a crazy train. We have since repaired the ozone layer. That is true. Greed is good. Famous line in 80 movies, Wall Street. That is true. The 80s were a little greedy, which is not cool. John says, I'm a baby boomer, and I'd be horrified if I was thought to be arrogant. It just seems we had more freedom. Things weren't so technical, not that bad. I felt safer. I get that. But two good times tend to create weaker people, because I think people will always be mean to each other, but now it's like they want to put laws to stop it with wokeness. I'm not sure what you're saying. Don't tell the orange Mussolini repaired the ozone. He'll try to destroy it. It also feels like in like in the 80s and maybe early 90s, like sort of pop culture hit its fever pitch. You know what I mean? The idea of popular culture. And maybe looking back on that, it was like, whoa, look how cool everything was, because pop culture had taken over, you know, the world. And we certainly don't live in a popular culture anymore. I mean, now it's totally like, you know, there's this whole idea of famous to you, like, you know, people you watch online or on YouTube, et cetera, even shows now that you watch that nobody else has even heard of, but they're, you know, like there's not really a central pop culture anymore. And I feel like that central pop culture hit its peak in the 80s. Hip hop started in the 80s, true. And I love hip hop. Men in the generations following the boomers are better to women, about women, working with women, etc. I think that's a noble progression we've made. Although hopefully these Gen Z fuckers don't fuck it up. Brucilla says, in the 70s I wore a mullet and now I ride one. 29er in the front, 27.5 in the back. A mullet, is that a bike? Like a motorcycle or a regular bike? More mullets, please, says Laura. Whoa, sorry, I said the F word. My bad. Oh, it's a bicycle. Okay. A mullet bicycle. I've never heard of that. President Clearly says, like everything, I think corporations are to blame for this. To blame for what? I'm going off the rails of a crazy train. All cultures have its dark side. I think you're right, Michael, to a certain extent. Wow, RM Bells is turning 50 next month. Congrats to you. Do you believe we are in a second Gilded Age, and that could lead to the second progressive era? I think that's it. I think that's quite possible. Yeah. What do you think of the ever-wearing beanie Tim Pool? I think he's a joke and a waste of space and time. I don't even understand who watches that guy. Like, how does he get an audience? Tim Pool, the Russian simp? Yeah, exactly. Tim Pool gets money from Russia, yeah. Tim Pool is an idiot with a huge audience. It's infuriating. Does he have a huge audience? I don't like. What is so appealing about watching that guy? I guess the only thing is he just rubs that itch of conspiracy theorists. It's like, oh yeah, tell me my conspiracy theory is actually maybe valid. Oh yeah, baby. You know, it's like, other than that, and you know, and that reason alone is pretty horrific. So Thank you for agreeing, Laura and Susie. Susie Q. Everybody loves Susie Q now. Dave in the Sky says, I suspect a lot of bots in those audience numbers. I sort of do too. Especially after the whole Russia paying him thing. It's like, that dude is being propped up by some sketchy mofos. He has to be. Spencer says, sorry, busy at work. Hey, do your thing, brother. Good shows. Thank you, Spencer. I'm jealous. I want a Cynthia song, but my name doesn't rhyme with anything. You know, I was talking about this on a previous live. The songs for specific people, they either come, it's like, it's art, it just comes to me, or it doesn't, Sam, do you like Adam Sandler movies? I like some Adam Sandler movies. I like Uncut Gems. I like Big Daddy. That's all I can think of. I'm not the biggest Happy Gilmore fan. I like The Waterboy. I like Waterboy. I'm not the biggest Billy Madison fan. I certainly don't like the, Grown Ups or whatever BS Jennifer Aniston movies he does. Happy Gilmore 2 was ass. It was pretty ass. I watched it just because, I felt like I needed to be part of that. Again, popular culture. I was craving that pop culture crave. It's like, a lot of people are watching this. Maybe I should too. I mean, there were some funny parts and some endearing parts, but overall, it was pretty dog shit. I would say the majority of jokes made me go like, how old am I? I'm 33. Jennifer Aniston's best movie is Office Space. That actually might be true. She has not been in a lot of good movies. At least none that come to mind. The original Horrible Bosses was pretty funny. She was also, wasn't she in some movie where she was actually nominated for Best Actress recently? It was like a really sad movie. I forgot what it was called. It's called Cake or something. Cake? I don't remember. Is Along Came Polly Jennifer Aniston? Let me look that up. Oh, it is. I don't hate Along Came Polly. The Morning Show is really good. She's good in TV. She's a great TV actress. There's no doubt. Movies. Oh, Murder Mystery. That's the Aniston Sandler movies. We're the Millers. That's not good. Just go with it. I don't know if I ever saw that. Horrible Boss. Oh, she's in Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty's good. What movie am I thinking of? Cake. It is called Cake. Oh, but the movie got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now I'm craving Cake, and me too. Yeah, apparently Cake isn't a good movie, but I think she was nominated for an Academy Award for that movie. Vladimir says, I legit got a headache after seeing Grown Ups in theaters. I don't know if I've ever sat down and watched Grown Ups, but I definitely turned it on while it's on TBS or something and tried to watch it, and I'm like, holy moly, this is bad. Academy Awards seem to mean nothing now. Yeah, to a certain extent. I still sort of hold them in high regard, but that's because I'm a film nerd, I guess. Cynthia says, my son turns 12 tomorrow. I'll be eating birthday cake soon. Heck yeah. Happy birthday, Cynthia's son. Oscars are overrated. That's fair. I saw Grown Ups when it came out in theaters too as a kid, and to be honest, you just had to be there. Yeah, there's some movies that just like hit at the perfect time in your life, and even though they're not the greatest movies, to you they just resonate. Have you heard there will be a sequel to The Social Network? I've heard rumblings about that. You still need to watch The Road. I know I do. Money for ballroom, but not healthcare. I know. Stupid. And wasn't he just going on and on about the Fed building remodeling? He was just complaining about how they were spending all this money on remodeling, and now he wants to remodel. Again, hypocrisy. We said it in the show, hypocrisy isn't even a good enough word to describe Trump. Doge needs to come in and get rid of the ballroom. That's a great idea, Cynthia. That seems actually like a perfect project for Doge. Ballroom equals race, fraud, and abuse. Yep. Where's Michael Nightwolf? That's a good question. I haven't seen him. Susie Garcia has been here forever, guys. I don't know why people are just discovering Susie Garcia. She's been here for... I remember her for a long time. Get rid of the ballroom and the $400 million plane. Let's do it. How do we do it? What, Keeks? Nightwolf disappeared. To be fair, you guys were being pretty mean to him. How do we get rid of Trump? We are one voice. Ethically. Legally, that is, of course. Susie K. Everybody loves Susie K now. Impeach him? Well, we're going to have to wait till the midterms for that, for sure. Come here, Bubby. You want to say hi to the people? Can you see him? He's like right here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey-ya! Hey-ya! Here he is. Want to say hi? Say hi, everybody. I'm Kiko. How you doing, Bubs? Are you sleeping? He's licking my arm. Were you sleeping? Is that why you're all yawny? He's very soft and nice to cuddle with. Okay, you want to get down? All right. Oh! How did I come up with the name for Kiko? I interestingly, I think I first saw it in an Instagram reel. There was like a cute dog video I was watching, and they were like calling their dog Kiko, Kiko. He's one. And then I looked it up, and it meant joy in Japanese, and I was like, oh, that's a perfect name. I like old Japanese films, and I like joy. Is Kiko a poodle? He's an Australian Labradoodle, which means he's a third poodle, a third Labrador, and a third Cocker Spaniel. Does your fur baby miss Cali? I don't know. He hasn't told me. Do you miss California? No answer. What film of this decade do you consider the best? Oh, you scared me. What? film of this decade do you... What? What do you need? All right, I think I have to go, guys. He's barking at me. The best film of this decade is An Elephant Sitting Still. Look it up. Best film of the decade. I believe it was within this decade. Let me see. (2018). That's the best film of the decade. It is a 4-hour movie. Just fair warning. It's Chinese too. What do you need? Oh, it's not from the this decade, the 2020s. Oh, I'm still thinking we're in. Right. That is not 2018 is not this decade. What? All right, I gotta go, guys. Look at him. You can see his little face here in the corner. What do you need? Do you need to go out? All right, he probably needs to go out. Okay. 4 hours of An Elephant Sitting Down. Yeah. Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, that's the best film of the 2020s. Is Happy Gilmore 2. Okay, see you guys.